What it do, y'all? This is your boy with another episode. West Africa Floyd, North End Floyd, Hollywood Floyd, Flizzle, Floyd Hard, whatever you want to call me, whatever you know me from. This is another episode of the KikBack. And on this episode, y'all, we're gonna talk about something serious. We're gonna talk about mental health. All right. You know, we all going through something. Everybody got problems in life. And you know what, y'all? We can't just pray on it. We can't just pray our problems away, y'all. Mental health is serious. It's important. What up, Ken? Ken, you always tapping in, Ken. Yo, I appreciate that. Shout out to you. Shout out to the KikBack Podcast. Y'all need to tune in. Tune in to the KikBack Podcast. Also, we're on YouTube. Y'all can check me out on the KikBack page and everything. And like I said, today's show is about mental health. Yeah, hey, I called you, homie. You didn't call me back. Well, what's up with that? But anyway, like I said, let me get off K-Cam. Let me get off K-Cam. Facebook is gonna ban me. Oh my God, Facebook, don't ban me. I forgot I had it planned. But yo, Dustin, what it do? But anyway, like I said, mental health is important. So, I have a couple of guests that's coming on. They've been on the show before too. And, we're going to talk about life itself. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about stress. We're going to talk about anxiety. We're going to talk about a lot of things. But my first guest, Brittany Noel, man, she is dope. Y'all need to check her page out. Y'all need to check out her book. Y'all need to check out what she got going on. If y'all seen the show before, y'all seen her before. And, a lot of people was loving what she was talking about. So I brought her back on the show. So everybody, welcome to the show. Miss Brittany Noel, what it do?
I'm good. How are you?
Back on the scene.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm second time.
Yeah, the last show I thought it was dope. That was one of my that's one of my favorite shows. So how you been?
I've been good. I have been busy, very busy, but good. I'm happy that the holidays are rolling around now. So
yeah, I know a few people. They hit me up. They said they bought your book after the show too.
Did they?
I know one of them was my sister.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was loving what you was talking about.
Did she? Oh, I gotta give a review. I gotta hear what she thinks about it. So everyone who reads it, I'm like, please tell me what you think. I just want to know.
Yeah, I gotta hit up about that. She told me that the book finally came in, which was maybe like about 3 weeks, a month ago. So yeah, she was loving it. As soon as we got off the air, not off the air, but as soon as the show was over, she was like, "Oh my God, I love what she was saying. I'm finna purchase her book." I like, dang, a straight up fan now. But the show is titled Mental Health, but it's not actually. Yeah. Centered around mental health because, what you talk about is, is like relationships, life, you're a life coach. So, you're motivating out there. Is it more catered to the women, you could say?
I think that I create my content for women because I want to empower women. But I think I delivered in a way that both men and women benefit from it. So like, for example, I go live every Tuesday on Instagram. So I have men who tune into my Tuesday night lives. So
I need to tune into that because I'll be loving it.
Yeah, this last Tuesday was good. And so that's where a lot of my clips come from that you watch. Those are clips from my Tuesday night lives. So okay. And I got a message from a guy this week who's like, I know that you're mostly for women, but just letting you know that this has helped me in this way. And so I'm just like, that's awesome. Hey, I'm fair.
Yeah, I can relate to him because I'll be thinking the same thing. Like, a lot of your stuff is catered towards women, but it's kind of like universal.
Yeah. I need it to be that way. Yeah.
I flip it sometimes to like a male's perspective too. So, I be digging it.
Very
so,
good.
For the people who haven't seen the show last time, can you tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yes, I am Brittany Noel. I'm a licensed licensed clinical social worker. So by trade, I am a therapist. But in my own practice, I am considered a life coach. I work with women to correct mindset, self-sabotaging habits, so that they can move forward into building the lives they want to create for themselves. So that's what I'm passionate about. I am an author. So I have a book out called Made for This on Amazon, basically teaching the principles of overcoming adversity and regaining your confidence. And yeah, so I do group coaching right now. I'm in the middle of a group. I'm starting another group next month. Yeah, is that everything? Oh, and I'm an entrepreneur.
With the group thing, how does that go with the group coaching?
So I basically coach in small groups. So when they sign up for my group, I have a 6-week coaching course. So when they go through the course, it's kind of predetermined content, but everyone is in there for a reason. And most times it's because they have a big goal that they're trying to build, but they're struggling with the mindset traps that keep them stuck in those cycles of unhealthy behaviors that, of course, stop you from getting where you want to be. So every week we're uncovering something that's a barrier for them, whether it's confidence, whether it's communication, whether it's how you see yourself. And for a lot of people, you just have blind spots that you don't even know are there, but you're wondering, why do I keep getting the same results over and over and over again? So my job is to help them find where is that cycle so that we can break it and then replace the sabotaging habits with empowering habits that actually help you become effective.
So you help women find their purpose.
Absolutely.
Is it hard?
No, I don't think okay, it's not hard for me. It's hard for the people who come through my program because, it's like working out. You don't go to the gym and expect it to feel good. So a lot of the stuff that, we cover, I think what's unique about what I do, because I think I told you last time, a lot of what I do is grounded in trauma. So all of my clinical history as a clinician, I treated people with significant trauma. So I'm very good at getting to the root of what's going on with you. And it's not pretty and it does not feel good, but you cannot build a future based on lies. So my goal is to help you confront your truth so that you can move forward in something that's positive and something that's real.
So, I mean, you say it's not pretty. Like, is it does it lead to arguing or, because they don't want to see?
So no. So I screen everyone before they come into the program. So I'm definitely only, allowing people to enter the program who I know for sure are ready for this level of treatment, right? And when I say it's not pretty, it's when you're going through your process, for a lot of people, it's difficult when we get to that part where you can no longer point the finger at everybody else, but now you have to take responsibility, right? Or you have to start letting go some of the things that you actually enjoy that are holding you back, right? So it's the part of the process that we want the results, we don't want the process.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, a lot of people like that, like what you was talking about, like working out. We want to see the end result, but a lot of people don't want to travel that road to get to that end result. I don't
want to work out 6 days a week. I don't want to eat right. I don't want to do these things, but I want to look good, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I see you be working out too.
Oh, I have to. Yeah, I have to. Right now, that's how I'm sustaining my own mental health right now, is working out.
That's one way to help out your mental health, right? Working out.
Absolutely. And you have to keep your body in movement. I tell and that's one of the things I teach in my course is that when it comes to emotions and how we process emotions, if you don't have an outlet for your emotions, they become bottled in your body. And when it's in your body, this is where you get those diseases like high blood pressure. This is where high cholesterol comes from, because there is a physical component to holding on to your emotions. And the natural way that emotions are supposed to happen is that they come up, they flow up and out of your body. But we have been taught when they come up, we suppress them. So when I suppress them, when I don't voice it, when I don't have an outlet, it's now they're living in my body. And you wondering why you're walking around on edge. You wonder why you walk around with an attitude. You wonder why you're walking around and you don't feel fulfilled or joy. And you're tired all the time. You're lethargic. And that's because you're emotionally weighed down. So keeping your body in movement physically is one of the ways in which you can help your emotions flow out of your body, even if you can't communicate them.
Okay, you know what?
He's like, let me process that real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, because I be when I haven't did it a lot, but when I used to go jogging, that helped me mentally because I for some reason I talk to myself, I motivate myself. I become more clear for some reason when I work out, and and I need to do that more. But it definitely helped, mentally. If I was stressed out, I just go walk and jog, and it'll help me out. Absolutely. But not to skip subjects and stuff. I seen something because I got a friend of mine. I'm not gonna say her name. She's getting a little older, and she wants to get married.
Okay.
She wants to have a family, and you was talking about why you shouldn't rush to get married, no matter what age you are, even if you're in your late maybe 30s.
Yeah.
Because I guess at times that clock is ticking. So
Yeah. And so this is where you have to, and I think I said it in the video, you have to be clear about what are we doing? What is the purpose? And for people who are single, before you go into a relationship, you need to have a vision for your life. So, and when I say a vision, for a lot of people, we will find someone we like, and then we build our vision around that person or around that relationship and say, I met Tommy, me and Tommy are going to get married. We're going to have kids. We're going to build the business. We're going to do this. And so now I've created a vision for my life centered around Tommy. But what happens when Tommy leaves? What happens when Tommy doesn't work out, right? And then we find ourselves in this place where we feel lost and we feel abandoned and we feel like we don't know what the next step is. And that's because you built your vision around something that could have been temporary. So I teach people that you have to first know, what is my vision? And my vision can be, I want to be married. And then when I understand what kind of marriage I want, when I understand what kind of relationship I want, when I understand how my purpose fits into my marriage, then I can pick the person who fits my vision. And that may not be Tommy.
Yeah, no doubt. Tommy got to go.
Exactly. And so for the person who asked me, and that question came from someone who asked me that question on my live, because they said that they feel like they need to hurry into this relationship and get married so that, their family, her dad would be able to see her walk down the aisle. He's getting elderly. And I told her, I was like, would your father rather you walk down an aisle with a man that may or may not lead to devastation, or would he rather his daughter be whole and single? Because I'm pretty sure he prefers you whole. I'm pretty sure he prefers you happy. But you have to make the decision that lines up with, where do I want my life to go and what is my vision? Because if you build your marriage or relationship on an insecurity of, I'm getting old, my clock is ticking, I need to have these babies, it's going to break. It's going to break because that foundation is nothing.
So it's okay to be picky no matter what your age. Because a lot of people, when they get, I'm not going to say a lot of people, but when you get older, they tend to ignore those red flags from that guy or that female because, hey, I could work with that. I'm getting older. He's the best choice I didn't have so far. So let me see if I can go ahead and make this work.
And it's not even that in that scenario that they're ignoring red flags, because especially when you're older, you've gained enough wisdom. You've been through this trial and error enough times to know a red flag when you see it. When you see someone up in age, making those types of decisions, it's because they've made an agreement with themselves to sacrifice. They've made an agreement, whether they realize it or not. They made an internal agreement with themselves that I know I deserve better, but I don't believe I'm going to get it. So let me take what's in front of me, and I'm going to learn to be happy with it.
Do you find that a lot with your group, when you have the group therapy and stuff like that with your group chats and stuff?
Absolutely. And we get creative about how we talk ourselves into it, right? And he's good with the kids. He don't come home on time, but he's good with the kids. He's a provider. He takes care of this. And this is why I said at the very beginning that I have to help women get to their truth. And it's not pretty when we get to the truth of, you got into this relationship. Well, yeah, you've learned to love him, but you got into it because you were lonely. You got into it because you wanted physical intimacy, and because he was available, you took what was available instead of staying true to my vision, right? And so that's a truth that we don't want to own that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But you can't rebuild a future until you actually confront that truth. So yeah, a lot of people are rushing into relationships, having kids, and for me, having the kids is like, the worst outcome, because now I've got a whole nother human being caught up in this. But we're rushing into these situations because we're lonely, because we're brokenhearted, because we're not full by ourselves, right? And now I'm making decisions that are going to affect my legacy, that those decisions will live even when I'm gone, right? So I think it's pros and cons, because men do it too. It's pros and cons.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. I'm not gonna say we, but yeah, they do it too. But you was talking about triggers. You say if it's a trigger, you can't be friends.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you be friends? I mean,
why can't we drink and drive?
Yeah, true that.
Because when you are, and you see this a lot with women who, there's someone that we like and we're attracted to them, but we know that they're probably not the best fit for us, right? They're either already committed in a relationship, or you know that they lie about certain things, that they get around town. So in your head, you've made up, okay, well, he's just not good for me, we're just going to be friends. And so you take on this friends mentality, but you're giving him boyfriend benefits. Call me whenever you need me, I'm here for you, whatever you need. And we're making ourselves available, overly available, and overextending ourselves for men who are not willing to give a helping hand when you need one, right? And it's because in your head, you've convinced yourself that verbally you're saying we're friends, but mentally you made up in your mind, this is my boo.
Yeah.
This is my boo, and this is why I'm overextending myself for him. And so, and I say that because you don't do that for every man. We don't do it for every man. It's only the man that we are triggered by. And that's the man that hits all of our little buttons, hits all of our little check marks, and we're willing to overextend ourselves to make him happy, even though we're not in a relationship. He's a trigger.
Hey, Brittany, a couple people said, what's the name of your book?
Yes, ma'am. It is Made for This. Made for This.
You froze for a second.
I know, right? I was looking at the comments. It's Made for This, and it is on Amazon. If you type in Made for This and then put my name in, it will come up.
Yeah, y'all need to check out. Y'all need to get that book. Get that book. My sister, she purchased the book. I need to hit up and
once you read chapter 1, the way it's designed, if you read chapter 1, it's over. Like most people have finished it in one reading.
Really?
Yeah, because the way I set it up, like once you read it, you immediately get hooked. And so people are like, I could not put it down. I have to figure out what happened.
Okay, so let's well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be asking this question a lot about the book. So I guess we'll go back to it later on if a couple more people ask. But look, Casey King. Oh, I just met that guy. I'm sorry, my bad, Brittany. I just met this dude, Casey King, in the mall. He was singing.
Oh.
It was a dude. I was walking past him. He was singing. He sounded pretty good. So I was like, "Hey, man, you sing?" He's like, "Yeah, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Maybe I'll put you on the show sometime. You could sing and or whatever." But hey, what's up, Casey? I just met him maybe like 3 hours ago. But but anyway, how important? How do we destroy self-doubt?
So that's one of the major things that I work on. So a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs, or they want to become entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of self-doubt involved in entrepreneurship, or trying to build anything great. And so I have to first teach them what self-doubt is. People don't understand that self-doubt is not an emotion. Self-doubt is not something you feel, it's something you do because of how you feel. So that means I have to do, self-doubt is a decision that I make, right? Because I can feel fear. You can have two people who feel afraid to open the business, but only one is going to sabotage their success, right? So self-doubt is the act of self-sabotaging. So I teach them how to first identify there are 4 traps. There's 4 mental traps that you can be stuck in when you're trying to build something great. And I won't go into all of them, but one of them is hesitation. That's the most common one I see. And hesitation is the act of constant preparing. So you keep saying, I'm gonna do it. I'm getting to it. I'm researching. I got to call somebody. I got to figure this
out.
And so you get stuck in this trap of just constantly preparing to where you have to get to a point. I have to ask myself, okay, so when are we pulling the trigger? When are we doing this? Because you've been preparing for months, right?
Yeah.
And so, and I call them, you're being busy, but your busy isn't getting you any results. And that's how I know that you're caught in a cycle of self-doubt, because when you take a look, and these are people who, they are tired, they're overextended. And I'm like, you done did all this work, but none of it was effective. It wasn't effective because you weren't executing on the things that you needed to execute on to move your life forward. So you're exhausted for no reason at this point. So I teach them is that once you have gathered enough information to make the next decision and to make the next move, you are required to make the next move now.
Okay, yeah, because I joke. Well, I don't really joke a lot, but I talk about the council people in my city, because I don't see a lot getting done. So a lot of people say, hey, maybe you should run for council. So I kind of play along with that, and I joke about it sometimes. I even tag the councilmen too, and I joke about it like, hey, I need y'all spot and blah blah blah, and all that. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she's gonna mentor me as far as like the politics and stuff like that. And I told her, like, I like the research stuff. I don't want to just jump into it or whatever. But tomorrow I might make a post about being a councilman. And then she's gonna be like, hey, you want to do this or what? You want to, don't play like both sides of the fence and stuff.
You have to make a decision.
It just that gravitated to me.
You have to make a decision. And when you are stuck in self-doubt, you constantly sit on the fence and you waver between, should I do it? Should I not do it?
Yeah.
All the while, your self-doubt is collecting evidence for why you should not do it. But when it comes to purpose, when it comes to your calling, when it comes to the big things that you were placed on this earth to do, those things never stop calling you. So every silent moment you get, it's going to say, hey, did you forget about me over here? Hey, this vision that you have, did you forget that you were supposed to build me? Every time that you try to silence that voice, it's going to speak to you. So it becomes very frustrating because you're stuck between this invisible voice calling you to be something greater and your self-doubt telling you to minimize who you are.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's what I'm doing. I think I'm just creating, like you said, self-doubt. I'm just creating reasons to not do it. Because, I've seen a commercial from the councilman of the neighborhood I'm from. And I seen a commercial, and he's a lawyer. And I seen he was like with 15 other black lawyers. And I was like, man, I'm trying to run against this dude. He got 15 lawyers with him and some commercials. And I was like, man, look at the network. And I was just creating this self-doubt,
looking for evidence for why you aren't qualified.
Exactly.
Right. And that's where that mindset shift comes in, where I have to, and this is what I do, right? So I teach them how to, first of all, identify what your trap is. And then once you know what your trap is, now you can see it working. So now after this conversation, every time you hear yourself talking to yourself and finding that evidence, you're going to remember this conversation with me. You're going to be like, oh, I'm doing it again, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
So I will tell you, the first thing that you do when you start to recognize the pattern that you're stuck in, now you have to break it. So one of the steps that you use to break it, I always teach my ladies, the first things first is affirmations. And you said it a minute ago, you talk to yourself all the time. We all talk to ourselves. And whether you realize it or not, you're answering back to yourself. So the affirmation that you're going to need, like I have certain trigger affirmations that I use, especially for situations like that. And the one that I use is that I'm qualified. I am qualified. That I don't need anyone to qualify me. I don't need the team of lawyers to qualify me. I don't need people's validation to qualify me. That the evidence that I have this internal calling, this internal guide waking me up in the middle of the night, calling at me in the middle of the day, the evidence, the fact that voice is even present is evidence enough that this is for me. And it wouldn't be for me if I wasn't qualified to do it.
True.
Right. And so
Right.
when you remind yourself of that, even though I may be afraid, now I gotta pull the trigger because
Mhm.
I'm clear about the fact that I'm qualified. So the thing that thing that you just created, that scenario that you just created in doubt, you now have defeated with your affirmation.
Yeah. See now I need to go ahead and just jump in that fire pan and just see how
Right.
it.
And
Because
then let me give you the third part I do with my clients. So today's
okay.
the 16th. All right. So I expect to see your flyer. I make you put it on the calendar. When are we sending the email? When are we making the post? When am I putting in the application? Put it on the calendar or it's not real.
Okay. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah.
Look, he's like, I did not get her on here for this.
No, because a guy was telling me, that he was telling me a date, like the latest date I have to go ahead
What's
and
the latest date?
it was like I think it's like January or something like that, or February, he was telling me.
Oh.
So I don't know. It takes money. You gotta have something. No, I'm not finna even say that. I'm not finna create a self-doubt situation.
There you go.
Erica said no to herself. Hey, how important is the people you hang around?
Very important. I like, especially in situations like this, because when you find yourself in those places where you're doubting, and understand that you self-doubt, and the feeling of not feeling enough, not feeling qualified is normal. And you should be feeling it, because if you're not feeling it, it means that you're not reaching for anything great in your life. It means that you are in a place where you have gotten very comfortable with who you are and what you have. And you may say that you want great things, but you're not actually convicted to build it. Because when that's the only way that you feel doubtful is when you're reaching for something that you feel is too big for you, whether it's the relationship, whether it's falling in love again, whether it's building a business, starting a family. Those are all things that make us doubt. Do I really have what it takes? Can I do this? Right. And if you don't have people around you that, one, can see your potential, can see what you can do, can see what you're made of, people who see who you are as clearly as you do, but not who you are today, but who you will be. Right. So like, I have friends, when I did my first ever interview series for the Gladiators, I had a friend call me and she was like, Brittany, I saw the interview, I loved it, I can't wait until we go to Oprah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we going to Oprah? She's like, yeah, we going to Oprah. And I'm like, you're right, we going to Oprah. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have people around you that see who you are becoming and see who you're going to be. If you can only see me as who I am today, that's a problem, because that means you're comfortable with me staying at this level.
God dang. I wish I had one of those things, those bombs that poof,
Yeah, you have to have people that see you. And I'm telling you, if you get around people who only support where you are today, but they have no value to add with where you want to be, they are liabilities in your life. They're liabilities. You know, right now I'm working out heavy. So there's a certain trainer at the gym who's an ex-football player, and he be going hard all the time. And I'm a Virgo. I'm competitive for no reason. I compete with people I know I cannot beat. Okay. And he went and did this crazy workout on the Stairmaster. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I know I'm not going to be successful, but I'm going to try it. So I went to the gym. He's at the gym and I'm trying this workout. And he did it for 30 minutes. I did it for like 16. I get off the treadmill and I'm like, man, first of all, I'm excited because I wouldn't have never done it had he never demonstrated what was possible. That's key number one. If you're not around people who are demonstrating for you what's possible, you will never expand your own idea of who you can be. So you need to have people around you who constantly demonstrate for you what's possible for you in your life. And so I finished it and I went to him and I was like, man, yeah, I didn't get 30 minutes, but I got 16. I'm proud about my 16. And he was like, but did you get 30?
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost died on this 16. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He was like, don't worry, we're going to work our way up to 30 because 16 is a representation of who you are today. And I'm committed to where you're going to be at 30.
Yeah, see, yeah, we need. Yeah, I hope people listening. Y'all gotta have friends like that. Y'all gotta have friends that's gonna push y'all to the next level. Even though you're satisfied at that certain level, you need to have that friend and be like, look, I know you did that, but you could have did that. But a lot of people see that as a lot of people don't accept the criticism like that. They might think like, oh, he's hating or she's hating or whatever. So, I mean, is that tough
So here's
to
the thing.
decipher that?
So the people who feel like they're hating has a very limited view of who they are. Because
Okay.
one, I'm one of the most oblivious people when it comes to stuff like that, to people not liking me or not, agreeing with me or whatever, or feeling like somebody's hating on me. And it's not because it doesn't happen. It does happen. I don't see it because one, I'm not in competition with anyone in my head. Two, I don't believe that anybody is that interested in my life enough to hate on me about anything.
Okay.
And three, this man has earned his credentials to tell me I can be better.
True.
Because he's done it, right?
Yeah.
So the person who, I can understand if that was somebody who had never done it before. But those people, we don't take advice or criticism from them.
Yeah, for sure.
I can understand if this was something that he didn't have credentials to say it's possible. But when you have someone in front of you that has been a demonstration of possibility and they give you feedback that says go harder, when you come back and say they're hating, it's because you have rejected the call to be better.
Yeah, they don't see that point.
Yeah, you rejected the call. And this is why I said in the coaching, I mean, those moments when I have to say be better to someone, it doesn't feel good. When I say, hey, I see what you're doing, I support what you're doing, but you still are playing too small. You still didn't go as big as you can. You still didn't execute on the level that you're capable of. Do better. And I'm gonna give them a date. I'm gonna say by this day.
Is that what you were talking about? Kind of what you were saying, like why you shouldn't believe nothing is too good for you? Is that along those lines?
Yeah, and that's because when you have set a cap at what you believe you can have or what you believe is good enough for you, you've set a cap for your growth. You set a cap for how big you can be. And the reason why I can say nothing is too good for me is because I am 100% willing to become the person that I need to be to obtain every good thing I want in my life. I'm the person who's willing, keyword, willing. I'm willing to undergo the process that I need to undergo to be as big as I need to be, because the big things that we want in life are only attracted to big people. So as long as you allow yourself to play small, you will attract small results. And so this is why I have to teach people that you need to understand that you're bigger than what you see yourself. And when you understand that, life is going to respond to that and say, oh, I have a buyer. Opportunity is attracted. Big opportunities are attracted to big people. So and that's one of my affirmations, that I am. There is nothing too good for me. Reminds me that I'm allowed to go big in this moment because I am worthy of every big thing that I want in my life.
Is it okay to set small goals to get to that big goal?
Absolutely. It's necessary. It's necessary. But understand that in the small goals require consistent execution.
Okay.
If it's especially like with my clients, if it's a small goal, because we set small goals that lead up to the bigger goals, right? But that means that you need to be executing on a small goal every day. Not once a week, not every other day, not just on the weekends. Every day there is something small that you can be doing that builds the life that you want to have, that builds the marriage, that builds your esteem, that builds your knowledge. Every day there's something that you could be doing. So if you haven't made that commitment to be consistent every day, it means that you're not committed to the bigger goal.
Man, the perfect answer. Yeah, but that's the main thing, to be consistent. I think you got to be consistent in anything you do if you want to get to that next level.
Yeah, and one of the correlations that I tell people, because people, praise me on being consistent, especially like how I show up on social media and how, I build my coaching But I tell them anytime that they give me reasons why they can't be consistent, and I'll ask them, if you were dating somebody and every time you called them, they answered the phone when they felt like it. Every time you reached out to them, every time you wanted to talk, they answered the phone every now and again, or just on the weekends. I was like, would that be somebody that you'd be willing to date? Oh no, I'm not going to date nobody. I'm not going to do that. So then if someone else can't treat you that way, why is it okay for you to treat yourself that way?
True.
Everything for me comes back to self. When I'm not consistent on my goals, I take that as a personal slight against myself. What is it what issue do you have with yourself that you're not willing to show up for you?
And this is all from your course, which is what, 6 weeks you said?
6 weeks. It's intense. It's 6 weeks. At the beginning of the program, they all set a goal of what they want to accomplish. And then I hold them accountable for accomplishing that by the end of the 6 weeks. And I'm telling you, every week we're uncovering something different, and it's always centered towards themselves. But I teach them how to manage your thoughts, manage your mind, your emotions, most importantly, execute, build your whatever vision you have. Like I said, a lot of my women are business owners. So we're applying these principles that they're learning in their business, because many of them can't ask for money because they struggle with believing that they're worth it, right? Many of them can't show up consistently on Instagram because they're worried about what other people are thinking. So I'm having to teach them how to unapologetically own who you are, no matter what limitations you think you may have. Because you are enough for where you are right now, the level that you're on right now. You are qualified, talking to you. You are enough.
Okay.
And you have what it takes to execute on this level. And many times people count themselves out because you're looking at the big picture. You're looking at that large, being the councilman and having the team, and oh my God, I don't have everything I need for this big thing. But you do have what you need for the small thing. You could have had a flyer last week.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So
yeah, no doubt.
I teach them, you keep comparing yourself to the big thing, and we're not even there yet. Stay where you are on the level and execute on the level that you're on, and eventually you will figure out, oh, getting to that big thing was actually absolutely nothing. I had to master the small things first.
Okay. Hey, Brittany, a lot of people want to get your info. They was like, they need your info. How can somebody get in touch with you real quick? I'm sorry, I didn't want to stop the momentum, but
no, you're fine. So go to my name is it on everything. So BrittanyNoel.com. You can get information on the coaching group there. There's an application, so you will read. There's a page you'll read about the group, and everything that we cover is on that page. And then you're going to click apply, and you'll fill out your application. And once you do your application, that's when I schedule a one-on-one call to talk with you just one-on-one about what you're going through, what your issues are, and how the program can help you. That one, I'm telling you, people, I make people cry. So bring your own Kleenexes to your one-on-one.
You make people cry?
Yes, people cry all the time.
Okay. All right, no doubt.
I mean, but it's a rewarding cry, because for a lot of people, they've been trying to figure this stuff out on their own for a very long time. And when you don't understand what your brain is doing and how it's affecting your actions, you keep making mistakes and you keep messing things up that you really enjoy, that you really want, and you don't know how to fix it. So for a lot of people, it's a cry of relief, because they're like, finally, I can figure this out now, So
oh, not to interrupt you. Here's another one. You said everything can go as planned. A lot of people don't believe in that, though.
No, they don't. And the reality is that in life, most things do not go as planned, right? That's just being 100% realistic. Most things don't go as planned. But what happens when I made a plan that's so big and so grand and so beautiful that as I'm reaching for that plan, I may not hit my target, but I landed in a place that I never thought I would have been a year ago. And that's where goes back to that bigness. Because people don't believe that things are going to go the way that they want them to go, they don't execute. They don't try. They don't put forth the effort. So I tell them, when you are mentally mapping out your plan of what you want to see happen, you need to visualize yourself living that thing. Visualize yourself walking in that thing. Visualize yourself becoming who it is that you're trying to become. Feeling how you want to feel. If you don't want to be depressed anymore, if you don't want to be sad anymore, if you don't want to feel, small anymore, visualize yourself becoming the person that you want to be. And then you start executing on it. And you will find that many times it doesn't even go as I planned, but I got more out of it than what I would have thought I would have gotten in the first place. That I got further than had I not believed. And so many people are taking action in disbelief and wondering why it's not working.
Right, man. Man, it's like church. They passing out in these comments.
Not passing out. Let me see.
That's why I loved you the first time we was on the show, because what you were saying was just hitting. It was hitting hard. It was like, it's like something that people needed to hear, but the way you say it is just, it kind of. Yeah. This is your calling. So, a lot of people loving it. But like you were saying, don't mute that voice yelling at you. I like that. I like that, because we do. Sometimes we be like, man, let me chill out. Is that voice constantly talking? And I guess that's part of the self-doubt. I guess that's self-doubt.
Yeah. And I think I want to say, like, that was one of the things that when I was writing the book, and, I started writing this book December 1st of 2019. And the first night I wrote like 4 chapters, and I was so on fire. And then after that, nothing. It was like no inspiration. I didn't know what else. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. So I just set it to the side. I was like, I'm going to come back to it. Right. And then we go back into our lives, and, we get busy, we get distracted. And many times we welcome those distractions so that I don't have to focus on what I need to focus on. Right. But I would be, on the couch having a whole Netflix binge. I literally could not enjoy what I was watching, because in my head, there was this voice saying, you need to finish that book. And what hit home for me was literally the voice was like, somebody is waiting for this book to come out so that they can do something different. How dare you sit on what you were called to do? So I turned off Netflix, dragged myself back in my office, and I finished what I had to do, because the voice, I'm telling you, even when I would try to go to sleep, the voice was like, oh, so you sleeping now? You tired? Right? Because it knows what you were built to do. It knows. And we get so creative about how we distract ourselves from executing and building and having what we need to have in our lives, so that we can live to our fullest potential. So that voice is saying, stop dumbing yourself down. Stop watering down who you are. Stop distracting yourself, and embrace the fact that you were made to be great. Embrace the fact that there's more in you. Embrace the fact that there's parts of you that are meant to serve this world, and people are waiting on you. What are you doing with it?
That's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. My boy Shelton say it's hitting 100. Good. But how do you stop from getting out your own way, though?
So what I'm gonna say this real quick. So for people watching, if y'all mind, if I get in y'all's business, just put in the comments, what is it that you feel like you've been hesitating on your execution? Like, what is it that you've been putting off? What is it that that it's that internal voice been calling you to do something, whether it's start a business, get in a relationship, get out of a relationship, go back to school. Tell me what it is in the comments. Okay.
And okay, I asked a question, but hold on. One of my questions was, well, it's not a question, but when I used to talk about going back to school, and I had a friend of mine, and he used to say, when you going back? I was like, oh, I'm going this semester. Semester passed. He's like, are you going this semester? Another semester passed. So it came to the point where he wanted to drive me up to the school pick out my classes, but register for my classes, everything. He almost followed me to the school because I told him I was going, and he was like, "You want me to follow behind you?" I was like, "No, I'm going. I'm going." And like you said, you have to have those friends that push you. I definitely had that. He was one of the friends that actually pushed me, and he actually like I have plenty of friends, but when that day came when I walked the stage, he was really like one of the only friends there at my graduation, and yeah, man, I owe it to him, changed my life, real positive guy. I call him my brother now, so, but yeah, you definitely have to have those people in your life, you know what I'm saying, and I owe him a lot. But my question was, how do you stop yourself from getting in your own way?
The first and very first is you have to have a relationship with yourself. And so before you can, because the way you get in your own way is you keep making bad decisions, right? And many of our bad decisions are fueled by our emotions and the fact that we don't understand our emotions. And so we're hiding our emotions through, overindulging, right? The Netflix binges. I'm busying myself with stuff that don't matter. I'm procrastinating and putting things off and off and off and off, right? So those are the behaviors, but those are symptoms to the larger problem. The root of the problem, most people do not have a relationship with themselves. This is why you can't hold yourself accountable. This is why you don't trust that you're going to do something, because you lie to yourself. Every Monday you say you start another diet. Every Monday you say, okay, I'm going to start it now. But you go back on your word so much that you've learned not to trust yourself anymore. So I have to teach people how to come back to that relationship with self. Before you build anything great, you need to know who you are and who you're not, right? So in order to get out of my own way, I got to figure out, okay, who is Brittany? What makes her tick? What are her triggers? Where does she get caught up at? I know hands down, my number one issue, like if I'm caught on something, it's because I'm stuck in perfectionism. I'm a Virgo. I want everything to be 100% perfect before it goes out into the world. Never happens, right? So that means because I know I'm a perfectionist, I have to learn ways to pull me out of that cycle when I see myself going into it. Most people don't even know what their cycles are. So they just keep going into the same ones over and over again. And they don't know why. How do I keep ending up in the same situation? Right?
Right.
So the key to getting out of your way is first build a healthy, strong relationship with yourself, one in which you can lovingly hold yourself accountable. Because change happens through love, not through hate. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, so the question you asked, they had a couple people chime in. Amy Gibbons said hire an assistant. She's a real estate. She's in real estate.
Okay, awesome. Hire an assistant.
Sway says start a corporation. They do food. Their food is actually real good too. I actually tried. They had like a boudin quesadilla, crawfish, something.
Ooh.
It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you can eat that because you working out.
I think you healthy all week. My whole face was just like, oh yes, okay.
And then Justin, he's starting a restaurant and a charter business.
Okay. And Miss Tiffany says procrastination is one of the biggest downfalls. We put our kids and others' needs. Okay, so awesome.
And Justin also said, what's the best way to build a relationship with yourself?
People laugh when I say this, but it's the same way you would build a relationship with someone else. Every good thing starts with a conversation. And ask yourself, when was the last time I had a real honest conversation with myself? So in the book, I actually go into it extensively. How do you build a relationship with yourself? And the consequences of when you don't have a strong relationship with self, how you get lost out here in the world. So what I would say, start a conversation, and it has to be a real conversation where you give real answers, not the little pretty answers that we want to hear, right? But sitting down with yourself. I know when I did this, I literally would go, and I'm a nature buff, so I like to be out in nature, but I would go to a park with a journal, and I would sit down and ask myself the tough questions, the hard questions. Brittany, why did you make this decision? And it's not, and you never get to tell yourself, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean you don't know? You made the decision.
Yeah.
You have to come up with an honest answer that you may not like. And sometimes this is why you do need a therapist, because sometimes the answer can be so convoluted and so deep that you may not be able to discover it on your own. But the first thing, everything starts in truth. Can I sit down and have an honest conversation about how I got here, where I am today, especially things that I'm not happy about in my life? And for Justin, who's saying, what if a conversation doesn't do good? There's no such thing as a conversation with myself not doing good, right? The only way a conversation with myself doesn't go good, and this is why I said you create change out of love and not hate. When I started losing weight, because I don't know if I was on a weight loss journey. Mm-hmm. For years, I tried to lose weight, and I would look in the mirror and not be happy with myself and be like, oh my God, you don't look good, and this, that, the other, and trying to hide everything because I was so displeased with what I saw. And so after years of trying and failing to lose weight, I finally said, you know what? I accept you. Okay. You got a round belly, you're fluffy, and that's just who you are. And I love you for that. And I started loving on me, big and all. It didn't matter how big I was, how unattractive I felt. It didn't matter what the world thought of me. I thought that I looked good. I started loving on myself in a way that I was like, girl, you cute, right? Mm-hmm. And when I was able to do that, my decision to eat right and work out and be consistent was a decision I made because I love me, not because I hate me. So I was convicted to stay consistent because I love her. Think of how much we go out of our way to please the people we love. Mm-hmm. Think about how much we do for the people we love. When you have generated that same type of love for yourself, you're willing to do what's necessary to change your life.
Is that what greatness requires?
Mm-hmm. Greatness requires vision. Greatness requires tenacity. Greatness requires you, and this is the hard part about greatness. It requires you to be willing to walk away from everything you think you are today. To literally write a new script of who you consider yourself to be.
So you got to throw that old person away.
And it's not even, and this is why I said, this is where the love comes in, because you have to understand who you used to be. You got there for a reason. That person that you are, at one point in time, you needed to be that person. So if you've become very harsh and very abrasive, if you've become that person who's not really good to be around, right? Mm-hmm. At some point in your life, you needed to be that person to protect yourself. This is why I try to be patient with people who are nasty or irritable, because I understand that no one wakes up every day saying, I'm going to walk out into the world and be my worst self today. Yeah. But they went through something that brought them to that place where they thought, okay, well, I need to push people away. I need to be, rude. I need to be this, right? So understand that at one point in time, that version of you served a purpose. But in order to get to the next version of me, I have to release the part of me that I thought I needed. And this is big in building loving relationships. When you've been hurt before and you become abrasive and you become hard, you think that you need to stay hard or I'm going to get hurt again. But building new love requires vulnerability. So I have to give away my shell, give away my hard exterior so that I can embrace the possibility of the new love that could be in my life. Right? So the embracing part served a purpose. It no longer serves that purpose anymore. So greatness requires you to take everything that you say that you used to be, write it in pencil, erase it, and say, with the new knowledge of who I have, of my strengths, of my talents, who do I want to become? I'm allowed. And ladies, this is a big one for us. The affirmation that I use all the time, I am allowed. I don't need anyone to give me permission to be beautiful. I don't need anyone to give me permission to have a big personality. I don't need anyone to give me permission to be attractive or to be smart or to build a business. I don't need permission. I'm allowed. to do whatever I need to do in this world to make myself happy.
You also said, I got a few more questions. You said staying in places you outgrow can lead to depression.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's that internal conflict I was telling you about, where you are in a place that you no longer can accommodate because mentally you have gone to the next level. Mentally, you're thinking about the dream that you're trying to build. Mentally, you're thinking about being happy. Mentally, you're thinking about, and you can see yourself being this other person that I'm talking about, but you're still physically in situations, relationships, jobs, circumstances that do not support that vision that you see. So every day you got to go and physically be around these people, places, and things that don't support where you want your life to go. And you get frustrated. And you start to think, well, maybe this vision is a lie. But I need you to swap it and say, it's not that the vision is the lie. The vision is my truth speaking to me. My reality is the lie telling me that I was supposed to stay here in the first place.
Yeah. So, and also, as far as your losses, how can you transform your losses to wins? I mean, if you're losing all the time, how can you transform? How can you transform that?
What was the purpose of the loss? And was it really a loss, or was it preparing me?
Me personally, I take a loss as, just a lesson. That's how I see a loss. That's how I view a loss. I don't even say it's a loss. I just think it's a learning lesson. I think it's just something that I learned from.
Yeah. And I think that's the mindset shift, and that's the perspective where something can feel like a loss, right? And as a therapist, I'm very aware. And for you guys who don't know, I'm a therapist who has a therapist. So when I'm talking to my therapist, I will tell them, I feel this way. Mentally, I know it's something else, but this is how I feel. So give yourself permission to feel depressed. Give yourself permission to feel disappointed. And with loss, most times is disappointment, right? So you can feel disappointment because this didn't work out. You can feel disappointment because I feel like I lost something, right? So I feel my disappointment, but mentally I know I actually needed this to happen so that I can learn how to do it on this level. I actually needed this to happen, right? Some of you feel like relationships were lost, but you actually needed that relationship to break down to prepare you for the next relationship. You needed the first business to not work out so that you can learn what needed to happen in the next version of your business. Sometimes the losses are there to show us and prepare you for what's going to happen on this next level, right? I told someone, so I own an event space, and by the grace of God, we survived COVID. So the event space is up and popping right now. But we had a party a few months ago that completely trashed my event space, like trashed. And so I had to come out of my pocket to fix everything. And I was mad. Hold
on, you had a party and it got that wild?
Yeah, they had like over 100 and something people in there. It was bad. Like in the entire park. So it wasn't even just my space. It was also the entire parking lot. So I had to go, and mind you, this was a Saturday night. I had a Sunday party. So my event space was popping Friday through Sunday. So we had other people coming. So I had to go hire additional people for the cleaning crew. And we had to like literally in 4 hours clean this entire space. It was crazy. And in my head, like I'm frustrated, I'm mad. But as we're cleaning, what I'm hearing go off in that voice, I'm hearing that voice because at the beginning of this year, what was on my vision board was to open my second space. And so as we're cleaning and we're getting everything together and I'm realizing, okay, we're going to meet the deadline, everything's going to be fine. The voice that went off and said, this had to happen because you need to figure out how you're going to manage 2 spaces when you get your second one. That this is showing you that not only will you run one successfully, because I had to build a team in like 30 minutes to get it done. So sometimes those situations are showing you, trying to prove to you that you have what it takes. So if you look at it as it's a loss, but look at how you handled it though. You're more qualified than what you believe.
And I don't know if you answered this. This is one of my last questions. You said to think about the possibilities instead of the limitations.
Yeah. Anytime.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to answer the question. I just.
Right. And so that's exactly what me and you were just talking about, right? Because anytime we're thinking about doing something or creating something, for people who have very limited, and I call it poor mindset. I know that's not the right word. Poor mindset. We'll just go there. So you have the poor mindset, and then you have the prosperity mindset. People with a limited and poor mindset, when you think about building something great, the first thing you look for is reasons why it can't happen. And they see that as strategy, right? Because when you are in a time in your life where you are constantly trying to survive and you are trying to just make it from moment to moment, paycheck to paycheck, you're used to trying to build strategy to not go under, right? So you're always on the defense, trying to plan for the worst case scenario in case it happens. Because if I miss this paycheck, we're going to be homeless, right? Yeah. So that's because you've been living in a survival mentality. But when you shift from surviving into thriving, it requires a different mindset from you, that I can't look for what's going to go wrong. Thriving says I have to look for what's going to go right for me. Because when you are trying to build something great, I can't build something great and look for all the reasons why it won't work.
Yeah.
I have to build something great and see all the possibilities of why it will work. And when it does work, who is it going to serve?
True.
Right. And so that mindset shift is a mindset from poverty. That's what it is. Poverty mindset to prosperity. So you're shifting from which in the Black community, a lot of us have to shift from poverty mindsets that were ingrained into us as kids. We didn't even know what was happening. Right. Yeah. When you say things like living to paycheck, right? My mom used to say, when you get money, you got to spend it or it's burning your pockets or something.
Yeah.
That created an unconscious belief that when you get money, you need to spend it. It don't matter what you spend it on, just spend it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's something that I had to unlearn, was like, no, your money is a tool. People who are in a prosperity mindset understand that money is the same thing as a hammer to building the life that I want. So if I blow off my money, I have now getting rid of the tools that I could have used to build the life I wanted. So people with a poor mindset see money as a opportunity for fun and entertainment. I don't see money for fun and entertainment. Mm-hmm. Right now, my money is a tool. What is it building? Every dollar I have is another hammer. It's another nail. What am I building?
A lot of people don't think of it like that.
Yeah, it's a mindset. It's a total mindset shift.
All right. Well, hey, I didn't have you on for an hour on a Friday night.
Talk too much. I didn't mean to.
No. I say this is what I needed. This is what a lot of people needed. And like I said last time, I love that you came on a Friday. I know you're busy.
So when are we getting the flyer out? I'm just curious.
The flyer is coming out soon. Probably, what is it? October? We're gonna shoot for November, mid-November.
So I'm looking at my calendar. So November 18th. Is that
November 18th sounds good. It sounds real good. Yeah, that sounds like a good number.
Because soon is not a day on my calendar. I was looking for it. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's definitely not on your calendar.
Soon. Yeah, that day is not on my calendar. And, I'm just, we have to make it real. So, and I would say to the people in the comments,
the car was late. I think she was here for about 20, 30 minutes. You weren't too late.
Yeah. So what I would say is for everyone because I don't want to take up too much of I can't address everyone on here, but
no, you're good. I thought you was had to go do other things, but you're good. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say because I see that I asked them to put what they're working on or what they are struggling with working on. So hiring an assistant, Miss Amy, what I would say is understand that Another poverty mindset that you have to outgrow as a Black entrepreneur is thinking that you can do everything yourself, and thinking that it's cheaper to do everything yourself. I have learned in entrepreneurship that it actually costs me more money to do things I'm not good at. Because one, it's not going to look the way I want it to, and I'm a perfectionist. That's a problem. And two, it's going to take me more time to do what the graphic designer could have did in a day. It's going to take me 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's killing my creativity. For what I do, I have to be in a creative state all the time. And I can't create and be with my clients and be fulfilled if I'm frustrated because I can't get this video edited the way I needed it to. So anytime you can outsource work, find a way to outsource it. There are for entrepreneurs, there are some cost-effective options out there, but find a way to outsource it, because you make your money when you are doing what you were purposed to do. So if selling houses is what you do, you're going to be more prosperous when you're selling houses, not when you're answering phone calls, not when you're scheduling tours. I don't know, but an assistant can do that, right? So that goes back to self-love and self-value. I love myself enough to allow myself to live in my creative zone. And if that means hiring an assistant, so be it.
Man, yep. And you're right. Sometimes we think we could do things ourselves, and we think that's the cheaper route. And like you said, somebody that edited a video, they probably can do it in a couple hours, and it's going to take you a couple weeks. I definitely know what you're talking about.
And in those weeks that you've been trying to do it, you ain't put out nothing else. You ain't been effective in nothing else. You're frustrated, and now you're distracted, and it creates a cycle. So ask yourself, and that's a real prosperity tip. When you make your to-do list, when I make my to-do list every week, this is really what I do with all my clients in my group. But when I teach them, when you make your to-do list, you have your whole to-do list for that month or that week. And then I will go through and highlight everything that I'm not going to do myself physically, that I'm going to outsource that out. I'm going to delegate it. So if I'm giving that to a graphic designer, if I'm having a videographer do it, and girl, they got assistants from the Philippines that work for $5 an hour. So depending on what you need, it can get done, right? But highlight, what is it that I'm going to have someone else do so that I can free up my time, because your time is what brings the money in, right? Exactly. If I can't coach, the money can't come in. So it don't matter if you got a flyer if you can't coach.
Yeah. What about hold on. Justin said I know Amy had the assistant thing. Justin was he wanted to start a restaurant. You gotta go farther.
So starting a restaurant?
Yeah.
And that's one where we are in 2020. Oh, if you taking notes, if Justin is here, this is money. Start with, whenever you want to create a product, it no matter what it is, if it's a restaurant, if it's like bath bombs or something, I'm just thinking. But I always tell people, your vision is the restaurant. Vision is the restaurant. Start with what's called the minimum viable product, MVP, minimum viable product. That means, what is the minimum product that I can create that will start my consumer base to start bringing in money, even though it's not the huge restaurant, but it's the minimum product that I can create that will start bringing in money now. And the reason why is because, again, your money is a tool. Your minimum viable product will pay for the restaurant if you do it right. So a perfect example today, I went and I did not buy this. Okay. It was a sample that was given to me, but it was a cheesecake, right?
Yeah.
So this person is known in Houston for making cheesecakes, and he just did this new flavor, and I got to sample it. I did not get a whole piece. I sampled it.
Okay.
This man makes bank out of his home, right? Mm-hmm. Now, his goal is to have his own restaurant, his own dessert store, but that's not where he is right now. But he's already started taking his Thanksgiving orders. So with your restaurant, ask yourself, what is the minimum viable product that I can create to start building my audience? People who start businesses, one of the things that I wish someone would have told me is build your audience before you launch your product.
Mm.
Because if you launch your product and you don't have an audience, you have no one to buy it.
Yeah, that's true. And I know Justin, and he wants to open his, huh?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, go.
Yeah, I know Justin, and he wants to open his restaurant, but I didn't know, I didn't know he sold food or he wanted to. So like you said,
start with the signature dish, whatever that signature dish is, or whatever he wants to be known for. Start with that, perfect that, because that's what's going to start the buzz. Like, this person is known for cheesecakes in Houston. So anytime you say, where can I get a cheesecake? They're going to say his name, and this man don't have a restaurant yet. Right? So you can start dominating your field by starting with your minimum viable product, and that will now qualify you for the next level, which could be the storefront. It could be the food truck. It could be whatever those levels are for you until you get to the big vision. But so many people never reach the big vision because they shoot for this, get overwhelmed. They're not ready for it. They don't have everything that they need. And then they give up. Right?
Yeah.
So you can shoot for the big vision, but just understand it's gonna take a lot out of you. The minimum viable product allows you to see consistent progress, because somebody's going to start buying it, and then once that person buys it, now they're telling the next person, they're telling the next person, right? So in my coaching group, most of my ladies, I'm teaching them how to start their minimum viable product and start it from there so that they can now start progressing to the next level. So like I did it with one of my clients is a photographer. She went from having 0 clients to now looking at getting ready to leave her job because her photography business has grown so much. But it started because I told her, you keep trying to get all these packages together and you ain't got no audience. Start with the basics. Start with that small piece first.
My bad, Justin. You talking about, I guess, I mean, hey, man, I'm not knocking you. I want you to open your restaurant. I'm just saying.
And I didn't know. Did you ever hear about, it was I don't know the name of it, but it was a big person in California and they were ex-gang members.
Oh, and yeah.
Yeah, they was in their kitchen cooking food, and they
got like a catering company or something.
Yeah, it's like Hood Crips or something like that. I don't know.
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
right. But they didn't wait until they got the restaurant. They started with what they had, and so many of you, if you just started with what you had, this time next year, your life could look so different.
Yeah, and like when I started my show. Well, when I started to do Facebook Live, I was procrastinating, and I had a friend. She went live a few times. Like, man, I want to go live, and I was like, but I'm nervous or whatever. And she was like, she used to tell me, you need to start now, because if you don't start, you go keep pushing yourself back, and then I finally started. I watch that show, my first show, sometimes, and I just look at it, and it's kind of funny. Because I could see the nervousness when I started.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is now. So, it's an enjoyment now. So.
Right. And this is, one day you're going to look back on this and be like, man, I'm nowhere near where I used to be.
So one question for you. When's the next book though?
So I have thoughts of what I want my next book to be, and to be totally honest with you, I'm probably going to create a workbook for Made for This first, because everyone who has read Made for This have asked for a workbook that accompanies it. So I'm actually going to release a workbook first, but the actual next book, I don't know, because I have to get clear about what's the next thing I want to talk about. And so I don't think that I have exhausted this topic yet. So I'll stay here for a minute.
No doubt. And they can find your book on Amazon?
Yes, Amazon. Just put my name in, and you have to spell my name right. It's AINY. Made for This. It will come up. Yep.
Yeah, spell the name right, y'all. And actually on Facebook, spell the name right. You can look up. It's not the BRITTANY, how people usually spell.
It's unique.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like, my mom didn't even know what she was doing, but I was like, when you put that name in, I'm the first thing to pop up on Google.
Yeah.
And she did. I was like, man, you bless me so much. Like people mess up my name all the time, but I'm like, I'm blessed when you get it right.
LaCara, her book name is Made for This.
Made for This.
Yeah, Made for This. So LaCara, go look it up. Go check it out right now on Amazon.
Yeah.
Hurry up and order it before you go do something.
I have to read it and let me know what she thinks about it.
Yeah, I'm actually finna hit up in a few minutes and see what she's talking about. But I thank you for coming on the show. I for the second time.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Hopefully, like, next year, early January or something, we can discuss goals for the new year or something.
Oh yeah. And I think because even my next group course, I'm going to be launching my next group. I'll tell y'all, I'm notorious for not telling people till they need to know. But for Black Friday, my next group will be announced. And that group is going to get the business. Because
how big are these groups? How big do you allow the groups to be?
No more than 10 people per group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So because I like the level of feedback you get is very intense. And so after every week, I give them homework assignments. And so they have to come to the next group with those homework assignments completed. And so they don't feel like they're doing these things on their own. I give them an assignment. They go out in the world. They have to do it. And then they bring it back to me and we talk about, okay, how did it go? What can we do differently? Because I'm all about, do it and then bring it to me, and I'm going to give you feedback on how to keep tweaking it and getting it better. You see so much progress, and people think 6 weeks is not a lot of time, but for the amount of work we do and how much accountability I give them, like, don't nobody come to my group without having their homework done. They know to have their homework done.
So how is it after the group? Do y'all still have that relationship?
Yeah. So after the group, so what happens is when you're in your group, everybody kind of bonds and they know everyone in the group. But outside of that, we have a whole Facebook group where all of my groups are in that one. And so you're now a part of the Made for This family, basically. And so everybody, so like anytime that we have, and every Monday they they go in and they say, okay, this is my goals for the week. This is what I'm executing on. And we all hype them up, give them encouragement. And then I do pop-up calls with them. So you're going to still coach with me at least once a month in the larger group. So, Yep.
No doubt. Well, once again, I thank you for coming on the show. This is a great show. I can't wait to watch it again because you was dropping a lot of great advice that male or female can.
Yeah. I hope that the everyone listening heard something to really apply, because on my Tuesday Night Live, I was telling people I really feel like we're getting ready to shift into a winning season, but your mindset has to be right now. Like the amount of opportunity just out in the world, it's there, but if your mindset ain't right, you're not going to see it. So, stay focused on what you want, stay focused on the vision, and execute. All things are built through action.
No doubt.
So November 18th, just send me your flyer.
November 18th, yeah, I'll be sending a flyer saying vote for Floyd Hope. Hope for councilman. All right, I thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right, stay safe.
You too.
All right. All right, man, that was the show. I actually had another therapist who was gonna come on, Aaliyah. I don't know what happened to Aaliyah. Stuff happens or whatever. I don't know. I'm not gonna say she was a no-show. Stuff just happens, because she was really focused on coming on, but it didn't happen. But anyway, this was a great show. I thank everybody for listening. Hey, please share it. We're coming next Friday. We have another show. It's gonna be like a cooking show. It's gonna be a show. Look at my daughter in the background. It's gonna be a show pertaining to Black restaurants, Black-owned businesses, and stuff like that. So we got people that cook, like we was talking about. Hey Justin, if you're watching, if you want to come on the show next week, I still got an opening. It's gonna be Black restaurants, and we're gonna talk to people who own them, how they started it, what they selling. what they got in store for the future, prices and everything. So it should be a great show. And like I said, man, y'all keep tapping into the kickback, man. I appreciate everybody that was asking questions, everybody that was listening, everybody that liked it, and everybody that shared it. So I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'm kind of taking it easy. I'm sipping a little wine this time. Usually I'm turned up on the Tito's, but it's no Tito's. I got Tito's right. Hold on. Let me move it. Oh, God damn it. Let me see. Okay. Head bang. Tito's is right there. I got like a whole bottle of Tito's right there that I'm not sipping. I'm trying to chill out on the Tito's because I don't know. So I'm sipping a little wine today. I'm chilling. And I thank everybody for tuning in to the Kickback. That's what I just said, Justin. If you want to tap in next Friday, 8 p.m., it's going to be a show pertaining on Black businesses, Black restaurants. And I probably got an opening. You need to tap in. You need to let me know how serious you is, and I can fit you in. And you can tell me what you got, what you selling, or what you're trying to sell, where you're trying to open your base, all that type of stuff, prices, all that. You know what I'm saying? Because, us Black folks, we love to eat, man. And we love to eat good food. So, you want to open up a restaurant, this might be the show for you. But yeah, I'm finna get out of here. Y'all check me out on YouTube. This would be on Apple Podcast, Spotify. If you just want to listen to it only, just listen to only. Y'all check me out on YouTube. I do music video reviews, country music mostly. So I listen to country music. I review them. And you know what I'm saying? It's a reaction video because I don't listen to country music. And when you do reaction, it's kind of throw. But anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. It's the Kickback. It's your boy, West Africa, Floyd. Tap it in. All right, y'all be safe. 100. Peace.